Hi, good morning and welcome to Saluting New Readers. I'm Kimberly Ewing, third grade teacher at Deer Creek Elementary. I am pleased to announce this is my 5th year producing or helping with the Saluting New Readers, and I'm very excited to show and showcase kids reading and the love of their reading. So I hope you enjoy it.
I'm going to be reading from Diary of a Worm. March 20th. Mom says there are 3 things I should always remember. 1. The earth gives us everything we need. 2. We dig tunnels to help take care of the earth. Must make tunnel, help earth breathe. 3. Never bother Daddy when he's eating the newspaper. March 29th. Today I tried to teach Spider how to dig. First, all of his legs got stuck. I think I've twisted one of my ankles. Then he swallowed a bunch of dirt. I give up. Tomorrow he's going to teach me how to walk upside down. March 30th. Worms cannot walk upside down. April 4th. Fishing season started today. We all dug deeper. Did you guys hear something? April 10th. It rained all night and the ground was soaked. We spent the entire day on the sidewalk. Hopscotch is a very dangerous game. April 15th. I forgot my lunch today, so I got hungry so that I ate my homework. My teacher made me write, I will not eat my homework 10 times. When I finished, I ate that too. April 20th. I stepped up to some kids in the park today. They didn't hear me coming. I will go right between them and they screamed. I loved when they do that. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Tristan and I'm going to be reading the Illustrated Book of Myths, Children of the Sun. This is the 5th world. The ancestors of mankind were living in the 4th world, below this one. With a great flood came the waves as high as mountains. The ancestors made a hole in the sky and escaped into the world we live in now. One day the people heard from the afar the faint woohoo hoo hoo of Hestiaote, the talking god. Slowly the noise grew louder until they could hear his moccasin tread. At last he stood before them. From a piece of turquoise he made a stenthale, changing them. From a piece of turquoise, changing woman. From 2 ears of corn he made white corn boy and yellow corn girl. Changing woman married to Sohati, the sun god, who carries the sun on his back and hangs it on the west wall of his house at night. He built her home on an island far to the west where she now lives. It is from there that the fresh breezes of spring blow and the rains came to water the Navajo country. Changing Woman had 2 fine sons, Killer of Enemies and Child of Water. However, their father, the sun god, refused to have anything to do with them. When they had grown into scrapping boys, Killer of Enemies and Child of Water decided to set out to find their father and seek his help in overcoming the many evil spirits that were tormenting mankind. They saw a plum of smoke rising from a hole in the ground and climbed down a ladder into a chamber. They found Spider-Woman, an old crone of great wisdom. She told them how to find the sun god's house. She also gave them a special charm to keep them safe from evil life fathers from the high-flying eagle. Thank you for listening to me read.
My name is Selena, and I will be reading Chester. Once upon a time there was a mouse. He lived in a house in the country. Then Mouse packed his bags and went on a trip very, very far away, and we never saw him ever again. So Chester moved in and made a few changes to his new place. Chester's chair, my curtains, Chester's home sweet home. But Mouse returned home. Oh yes, and did I mention he brought back a really big souvenir with teeth? Back to the story. Once upon a time there was a mouse he lived in. Chester moved out of the way. He lived in the country with his vegetarian dog who only ate carrots. Then Melanie begged Chester to write a better story, and it goes something like this. Once upon a time there was me, Chester. Chester stands for charming, handsome, envy of Mouse, smart, talented, envy of Melanie, really handsome. Chester lived in Chesterville, where mice weren't allowed. It was a beautiful day, until it started to rain. Now, as I was saying, once upon a time there was a mouse. He lived in a house in the country, and he lived happily ever after. The end. I can't work like this. Chester, this is where I draw the line. Nope, I'm drawing the line. Do not cross this line. Keep out Chester's side. Chester, that's enough. Hand over the marker this instant. Chester's busy. Thank you for listening to me read Chester.
Hi, my name is Connor, and I am going to be reading Derek Jeter, The Contract. Chapter 12, Wins and Losses. Hey, Derek, can I talk to you for a minute? Derek stopped taking grounders at second and jogged over to where Coach Kozlowski was standing by the bench. Two things were odd about this. First, the coach had gotten Derek's name right for a change. Second, he never took the time to speak one-on-one with kids, unless he was going to bench them. That couldn't be, could it? Derek had played a pretty flawless second base so far, and had set his mind on making the most of the opportunity, even if it wasn't his first choice. He was hitting a team-leading .565, although he had only one home run. So what could the coach possibly want with him? Derek, said Coach Kozlowski, I know this season hasn't been easy on you so far. Huh? Now Derek was totally confused. Had his dad or mom said something to the coach about Derek's hurt feelings? He sure hoped not. Nah, he thought they wouldn't do that. They'd want him to find his own way through it. But then, what was this about? I want to shake things up a little, the coach was saying, so I've decided to make some changes in the infield. Pete's going to be pitching today, so I'm putting you at short. What? Derek blurted out, dumbstruck. Now it was the coach's turn to look confused. Funny, I thought you'd be pleased. It's where you wanted to play, isn't it? Thank you for listening to me read.
My name is Thomas, and I am going to be reading Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. Chapter 37. I am trash-talked by a squirrel. I always liked climbing trees. My mom had been pretty understanding about that. She'd only get nervous if I got above 20 feet. Then a little tension crept into her voice. Honey, that branch may not hold you. Could you come down a little? On the world tree, every branch would hold me. The biggest ones were wider than Interstate 93. The smallest were as large as your average redwood. As for Yggdrasil's trunk, it was so immense it just didn't compute. Each crevice in its surface seemed to lead to a different world, as if someone had wrapped tree bark around a column of television monitors glowing with a million different movies. The wind roared, ripping at my new denim jacket. Beyond the tree's canopy, I saw nothing but a hazy white glow. Below, the tree had to be rooted somewhere, but I felt woozy and unbalanced, as if Yggdrasil and everything it contained, including my world, was free-floating in primordial mists, the Ginnungagap. If I fell here, in the best-case scenario, I'd hit another branch and break my neck. Worst-case scenario, I'd keep falling into great white nothingness. I must have been leaning forward because Blitzen grabbed my arm. Careful, kid. First time in the tree will make you dizzy. Yeah, I noticed. Heartstone still sagged between Sam and me. He tried to find his footing, but his ankles kept bending in odd directions. Sam stumbled. Her broken shield slipped from her grip and somersaulted into the abyss. She crouched. She crouched, a look of barely controlled panic in her eyes. I liked Yggdrasil a lot better when I could fly. Thank you for listening to me read.
My name is Macy, and I'm going to be reading The Legend of Spud Murphy. I'll just sit here and pretend to read. You're such a chicken, said Marty. No wonder Action Man is your only friend. I, on the other hand, am one of the hero types. I am prepared to take big risks. Why did you tie your sweater to your chest? Wait and see, chicken boy, said Marty. My big brother walked around the edge of the carpet, checking to see if Spud would spot him. She can't even see us, he said. We can do whatever we want. I was starting to get very worried. Whenever a boy did something wrong, grown-ups tended to blame it on their entire family. What are you going to do? I asked. Marty smiled. The best way to mess with a librarian is to put things back in the wrong place. He rubbed his hands gleefully. They hate that. It drives them nuts. Marty was an expert on messing with librarians. There had been a few notes home from the school library, so I'm just going to switch a few books for Miss Spud Murphy. By the time she finds out, we'll be at home watching cartoons. Marty laid on his stomach and wiggled out onto the wooden floor. He glided across the polished planks on a double layer of wool. I had to admit, Marty was a master, like a crocodile swimming down the Nile. Marty slid to the nearest bookshelf with barely a sound. He climbed onto the bottom shelf and perched there motionless. There was only one other person at the end of the library, a short man with gray hair and bushy eyebrows. Marty waited until he moved away before he could cause mischief. One book at a time, he switched almost every single book in the section. He put mysteries with romance, adventures with birdwatching, and gardening with modeled airplanes. Spud would be furious. To make matters worse, Marty started to swap the reference sheets at the end of each shelf. The pages told the reader what kind of book was at the particular shelf. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Kira, and I'm going to be reading Itty Bitty Animals. Animals come in all shapes and sizes. In this book, you'll meet some of the smallest and cutest animals around. Some you may know, and some you may have never heard of at all. But each of these little guys has one thing in common. They are all itty bitty animals. Fennec fox. The fennec fox is tinier than any other dog, wolf, fox, or coyote in the world. Its body may be small, but its ears are very big. In fact, for its size, its ears are larger than any other fox's. In some parts of the world, kids get to keep these furry friends as pets. Northern pygmy owl. The northern pygmy owl can be found near coastlines and at forest edges all across North and Central America. It weighs 2.5 ounces, which is about the size of a chicken's egg. It's different from other American owls because it's much smaller and not nocturnal. Panda cow. This cute creature is not a mix between a panda and a cow, but it sure looks like one. Instead, it's a special type of cow, with only 25 living in the world. Because they are so small, they're so rare, they are sold to animal lovers all over the planet for more than $25,000. Old English baby doll Southdown sheep. An Old English baby doll Southdown sheep is the tiniest type of sheep. They make great pets because they're small size and soft fur. They are so smart that they can even be taught to walk on a leash like a dog. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Tristan, and I'm going to be reading Diary of the Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul. June, Friday. If there's one thing I've learned from my years of being a kid, it's that you have zero control over your own life. Ever since school let out, I haven't had anything I've needed to do or anywhere. I've needed to be, as long as the air conditioning was working and the TV remote had batteries in it, I was all set for relaxing summer vacation. But then, out of the blue, this happened. Pack your bags, we're going on a road trip. This isn't the first time Mom had sprung a trip on us without any warning. Last year, on the first day of summer, she said we're going to upstate for a few days and visit Aunt Laura at the nursing home. It wasn't exactly my idea of fun way to kick off the summer. One time when we visited Aunt Laura, her roommate grabbed me and wouldn't let me go until the staff gave her a chocolate chip muffin. But Mom was just buffling about going to the nursing home. At breakfast the next morning, she told us we're going to Disney World. Me and my brother Roger were happy because we're both spending the first week of summer vacations playing shuffleboard at the nursing home. But when my little brother Manny heard about the change in the plans, he totally lost it. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Skyla, and I'm going to be reading Attaboy Sam. Chapter 1, Sam. What on earth are you doing, Sam? Miss Krupnik stood in the doorway, staring at her son. Sam looked up. Moms were sometimes very strange, he thought. They always asked what you were doing, even though they could see what you were doing. Once when he was younger and naughtier, Sam had found it interesting to unroll toilet paper. He knew that he wasn't supposed to, but every time he wandered past the bathroom and glanced in, he saw that roll of toilet paper hanging there, with its end dangling in a tantalizing way. He couldn't seem to stop himself. He would have to go in and unroll it. If he got it going just right, he could twirl the roll around very fast, and the paper would go all over the floor, and it was wonderfully interesting to him. And always, whenever he did that, his mom would appear in the bathroom doorway and say, "Sam, what on earth are you doing?" He could never figure out what she did think he was doing. Taking a bath, brushing his teeth. Today, though, he wasn't unrolling toilet paper. He was much too old to do a baby thing like that. Today, he wasn't even in the bathroom. He was in the study, his dad's study. He looked over at his mother, who was still in the doorway. Then he said patiently, even though he was quite certain she knew exactly what he was doing, "I'm typing." She came across to the room and stood behind him, looking down over his shoulder. "My goodness," she said, "you really are." She didn't sound angry. She sounded surprised. Sam didn't know why his mom would be surprised that he was typing his father's typewriter here in the study. He was a fascinating thing, and his dad showed him once how to roll a piece of paper and then push the keys with letters on them. "I typed my name," Sam told her with pride, and then he had Sam, Sam, Sam. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is David, and I will be reading from The Giving Tree. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much, and the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I am too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and be happy." "I am too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm," he said. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Max, and I will be reading William Shakespeare, Tragedy of the Sixth Revenge. War is the cry that doth through space resound. The good republic faces bold attack from Dooku. He whose evil doth abound, yet heroes rise as each fighteth back dread leader General Grievous. He most vile hath entered a new player on the scene. With movement swift and unexpected guile, he hath made bold to kidnap Palpatine, Whistler, the capital, and Corsican. The separatist droid army tries to flee. 2 Jedi dispatch upon a jaunt to set the hostage Palpatine full free. In time so long ago begins our play in a vengeful galaxy far, far away. Enter Chancellor Palpatine on balcony in chains. Hung be the heavens with black heel day to night. The dark shall rise and 'twere a second sun, and course that I pursue doth run direct betwixt these rival factions, which make war upon the intrigues I myself have spread. The game is mine to win. When I see fit, the deck is stacked, to mine advantage strong. For I have dealt the pack with cunning shrewd. I have with care a house of cards set up that may be nearest exhale to my breath. Be toppled, each card falling honor its neighbor. The kings and Yoda rallies all his troops. Whistle Anakin doth make off with the queen. Count Dooku, that black-suited knave, doth, yet these are most regal cards that soon collapse upon a very whim of very firm will. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Darcy, and I'm going to be reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Chapter 1450. Harry opened his eyes and was dazzled by gold and greens. He had no idea what had happened. He only knew that he was lying on what seemed to be leaves and twigs, struggling to draw breath into his lungs that felt flattened. He blinked and realized that the gaudy glare was sunlight streaming through a canopy of leaves far above him. Then an object twitched close onto his face. He pushed himself onto his hands and knees, all ready to face some small, fierce creature, but saw that the object was Ron's foot. Looking around, Harry saw that they and Hermione were lying on the forest floor, apparently alone. Harry's first thought was the Forbidden Forest. As for a moment, even though he knew how foolish and dangerous it would be for them to appear in the grounds of Hogwarts, his heart leaped at the thought of sneaking through the trees to Hagrid's hut. However, in the few moments it took for Ron to give a low groan and Harry to start crawling toward him, he realized that this was not the Forbidden Forest. The trees looked younger. They were more wildly spaced, the ground clear. He met Hermione also on her hands and knees at Ron's head. The moment his eyes fell upon Ron, all the concerns fled Harry's mind, for blood drenched all over Ron's left side, and his face stood out grayish-white against the leaf strength nearest. Thank you for listening to me read.
My name is Robin. I'm going to be reading The Cat with No Tail. A long time ago, it started to rain. It rained and rained and rained. Noah called all the animals into the ark. One little cat paid no attention to Noah. She was too busy trying to catch a mouse. I want to go into the ark until I catch this mouse, she told herself. At last, all the animals were in the ark, even the mouse. they're soft inside Noah's Ark. Noah called out in a loud booming voice. Who is out is out. Who is in is in. As Noah was closing the great doors of the ark, the little cat squeezed in, but the heavy doors closed on her tail. The little cat got in, but her tail was left outside in the way. And that is one true story about the cat with no tail. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Lavender, and I'm going to be reading Pony Pals. The Woman in Red. Anna Harley sat tall in the saddle. She looked over her pony's head at her two friends and the trail ahead. Anna loved riding on Pony Pal Trail. This is going to be a great day, she thought. I'm going to have a good time and not think of my problem. Whenever the Pony Pals went out with their ponies, they took turns in the lead position. This sunny winter morning, Pam Carndale was in the lead on her tall chestnut-colored pony, Lightning. Behind her was Lula Sanders on Snow White. Then came Anna on her pony, on her light brown and black Shetland pony, Acorn. The Pony Pals reached a long stretch of trail. Pam moved Lightning into a trot and then a cinder. Lula and Snow White picked up their places. Anna squeezed her legs against an Acorn's side. "Come on, Acorn," she said, faster. But Acorn slowed down instead. Anna patiently waited for him to decide whether to keep up with the others. Suddenly, Acorn snorted and charged ahead fast. That Anna thought they might climb right up Snow White's back. "Whoa!" Anna called out as she pulled on the ruined. But as usual, Acorn stopped when he decided that it was time to stop. Thank you for listening to me read.
Yes. Nice.
My name is Abby, and I'm going to be reading Mike's Mystery. Chapter 3, Fire! The children slept soundly. They all woke up once to hear a strange bell ringing. But they thought it was midnight, so they all went to sleep again. When they came down in the morning, Sam and Maggie were talking about a fire. "What fire?" said Henry. "Didn't you hear the fire bells ringing and ringing in the night?" Sam asked. "Here comes the paper boy. The news will be all in the paper." Sam took the paper. It was full of pictures. Benny looked over his shoulder. "It's Mike's house," he yelled at the top of his voice. The paper says that it was the Woods house that had burned to the ground. "Let me see the paper, Benny," Jessie cried. "I can read faster." "I can read fast enough," said Benny excitedly. "See the paper? See that picture? It's Mike's, all right." "I'm afraid it is," said Jessie, trying to read that lovely new pink house and the washing machine and electric stove. No lives were lost, read Benny. Not even the dog. Their big dog Spot, who slept in the cellar, barked and gave the alarm. The fire had started in the cellar, and by the time the fire engine came, the whole house was burning. The fire seemed to start on all four sides of the house. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Mason, and I'm going to be reading Garfield Beats Up. Garfield. Who me? Who me? Who me? Who me? Who me? Who me? He what? Garfield. Showtime. Stomp, 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 stomp. Yes, I'm aware of how many days it is till Christmas. Well, let's get cracking. Okay, Christmas is coming. He's continuing his excitement. Christmas is just around the corner, Odie. Look, a Christmas card from Doc Boy. Happy holidays to my chicken tickler, cow tipper, rooster rustling, city boy brother. How sweet of him to remember all that. You can take the dork out of the farm, but you can't take the farm out of the dork. Dear son, happy holidays from the farm. So much has been happening here. The mare had a foal, the sow had a little litter, and the chicken had a stroke. She was sure to go and started to enjoy these letters from home. May I borrow 3 marshmallows? Sure. Garfield! Dear Santa, I am writing this letter for my cat, Garfield, who has been an okay cat for most of the year. Slap. Delete, 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 delete. Good all year. Slap. Delete, 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 delete. Tick, 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 tick. A saint? Oh, please. It never hurts to pad your review. Santa Claus isn't stupid, you know. I'd think twice before sending him that letter about how good we were this year. Maybe I should take out the part about winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Kaya, and I'll be reading The Bad Beginning. Your parents, Mr. Poe said, have died in a terrible fire. The children didn't say anything. They died, Mr. Poe said, in a fire that destroyed the entire house. I'm very, very sorry to tell you this, my dears. Violet took her eyes off Mr. Poe, stared out at the ocean. Mr. Poe had never called the balding children my dears before. She understood the words he was saying, but he thought he must be joking, playing a terrible joke on her and her brother and sister. Perished, Mr. Poe said, means killed. We know what that word perished means, Claus said crossly. He did know what the word perished meant, but he was still having trouble understanding exactly what it was that Mr. Poe had said. It seemed to him that Mr. Poe must somehow have misspoken. The fire department arrived, of course, Mr. Poe said, but they were too late. The entire house engulfed in fire. It burned to the ground. Claus pictured all the books in the library going up in flames. Now he'd never read all of them. Mr. Poe coughed several times in his handkerchief before continuing. I was sent to retrieve you here and to take you to my home, where you'll stay for some time while we figure things out. I am the executor of your parents' estate. That means I will be handling
their enormous fortune in figuring out where your children will go. When Violet comes of age, the fortune will be yours, but the bank will take charge of it until you are old enough. Although he said was the executor. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hello, my name is Tobin and I will be reading The Giving Tree. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches. He would eat apples, and they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much, and the tree was happy. And the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches and eat apples and play in my shade and be happy." "I'm too big to climb trees and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I have only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you will have money and you will be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. Thank you for listening to me.
Hi, my name is Morgan, and I'm going to be reading The End. "Vi," she cried, which was her way of greeting Violet. "Cloud, Sun, we wouldn't leave without you," Violet said, smiling down at the baby. "Come aboard," Klaus said, talking to her as if she were an adult. "You little thing," Sunny said, using a term of endearment she had made up herself. The baby paused and looked at the back of the boat, where the nameplate had been affixed. She had no way of knowing this, of course, but the nameplate had been nailed to the back of the boat by a person standing on the very spot she was standing, at least as far as my research has shown. The infant was standing on a spot in someone else's story during a moment of her own, but she was thinking neither of the story far in the past nor of her own, which stretched into the future like an open sea. She was gazing at the nameplate, and her forehead was wrinkled in concentration. Finally, she uttered a word. The Baudelaire orphans gasped when they heard it, but they could not say for sure whether she was reading the word out loud or merely stating her own name. And indeed, they never learned this. Perhaps this last word was the baby's first secret, joining the secrets the Baudelaires were keeping from the baby, and all the other secrets immersed in the world. Perhaps it is better not to know precisely what was meant by this word. And some things are better left in the great unknown. There are some words, of course, that are better left unsaid, but not, I believe, the word uttered by my niece, a word which here means that the story is over. Beatrice. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Megan, and I will be reading from Aliens Love Underpants.
Aliens have underpants of every shape and size. But there are no underpants in space, so here's a big surprise. When aliens fly down from Earth, they don't come to meet you. They simply want your underpants. I'll bet you never knew. Their spaceship's radar bleeps and blinks the moment that it sees a fresh clothesline of underpants all flapping in the breeze. They land in your backyard, though they haven't been invited. Ooh, underpants, they all chant and dance around delighted. They like them red, they like them green, or orange like wild pumas. But best of all, they love the sight of Granny's spotted bloomers. Mom's pink frilly panties are a perfect place to hide, and Grandpa's woolly long johns make a super whizzy slide. In daring competitions held up by just one pin, they dive into the long johns to see how many can squeeze in. They wear undies on their feet and heads and other silly places. They fly undies from their spaceships and hold funny undie races. As they go zigging through the air, it really is pants-tastic. What fun the aliens can have with underpants elastic. It's not your neighbor's naughty dog or its owner's funny game. When underpants go missing, the aliens are to blame. But quick, Mom's coming out to fetch the laundry at last. Whee! Off the aliens all zoom. They're used to leaving fast. So when you put your underpants on, freshly washed and nice and clean, just checking. Thank you for listening to me.
My name is Natalie, and I'm going to be reading Warriors Into the Wild. Chapter 4. Shocked yells rose from the crying cats and echoed through the forest. Ravenpaw staggered slightly. His right foreleg glistened, red with blood that flowed from the deep gash in his shoulder. We met 5 brave-crying warriors beside the stream. Not far from the shining rocks, he went on shakily. Olcott was among them. Olcott, Greypaw gasped beside Firepaw. He is the deputy of Ravenpaw. He's one of the greatest warriors in the forest. Lucky Ravenpaw. Wish it could have been me. I'd have really gray striped with silence by fierce glance from the old great Tom who had first sensed Ravenpaw's return. Firepaw turned his attention back to Ravenpaw. Redtail warned Olcott to keep his hunting parties out of Thunderclan territory. He said the next Ravenclan warrior to be caught in Thunderclan territory would be killed. But Olcott would not back down. He said his clan had to be fed whatever we threatened. Ravenpaw paused to reach for breath. His wound was still bleeding heavily, and he stood awkwardly to keep the weight off his shoulder. That's when the Ravenclan cats attacked. It was hard to see what was happening. The fighting was vicious. I saw Olcott and Redtail pinned to the ground. But then Redtail. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Lauren, and I'm going to be reading Snow Bright and the Tooth Musician. The kingdom of Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo was famous all over the world for its annual smile contest. People trained every day of the year for the contest, looking into mirrors for hours on end and flashing their pearly white teeth. First prize in the contest was 2 tons of toothpaste, 200 toothbrushes, a race car, a speedboat, a jet plane, and the winner became Queen of Bibbidi Bobbidi. Snow Bright had won the smile contest for 10 years in a row. No one could beat the razzle-dazzle whopper of a smile. Every tooth in her mouth gleamed like a shiny star. Every year when she won, Snow Bright sold her prizes and gave the money to the poor people of the kingdom. Snow Bright lived in the royal castle with her husband, the young and dashing Prince Charming. His breath smelled a bit from eating lots of garlic pizzas, but otherwise he was great. Her best friends were 7 champion sumo wrestlers: Frisky, Frosty, Floppy, Flippy, Frizzly, Fuzzy, and George. Everything was perfect for Snow Bright until it was the day of the annual smile contest. Snow Bright had to win in order to remain queen. She'd won, so thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Amanda, and I'm going to be reading from Mr. Worry. Poor Mr. Worry. Whatever happened, he worried about it. If it rained, he worried that his roof was going to leak. If it didn't rain, he worried that all the plants in his garden were going to die. If he set off shopping, he worried that the shops would be shut when he got there. And when the shops weren't shut when he got there, he worried that he was spending too much money shopping. And when he got home with his shopping, he worried that he'd left something behind or that something had fallen out of his basket on the way home. And when he got home and discovered that he hadn't left anything behind and that nothing had fallen out of his basket on the way home, he worried that he'd bought too much. And then he worried about where to put it all. Life was just one long worry for Mr. Worry. One day he went for a walk. He was worried that he might walk too far and not be able to get home. But on the other hand, he was worried that if he didn't walk far enough, he wouldn't get enough exercise. He worried along worrying. Or could you say he worried along hurrying? He met Mr. Bump. "I'm very worried about you," he said. "Why's that?" asked Mr. Bump. "I'm worried that one of these days you might hurt yourself," he said. "Don't you worry your head about that," replied Mr. Bump, and went on, tripping over his own feet. Mr. Worry went on. He met Mr. Noisy. Thank you for listening to me read. Hi, my name is Tanner, and I am going to be reading The White Wolf. Chapter 1. "There he is," shouted Ruth Rose. She pointed at the sky, where a small seaplane was getting ready to land. Dink, Josh, and Ruth Rose were standing on the pier in Essex, Kentucky. It was a warm summer morning, and Ruth Rose was dressed in lavender from her headband down to her sneakers. Even her sneaker laces were lavender. "It's so cool that planes can land on the water," Dink said. His full name was Donald David Dinkin, but everybody just called him Dink. As the kids watched the seaplane touch the top of the water, small rainbows formed as the water shot into the air. Then the plane pointed toward them. "I see Walker," Joss said, waving at the plane. Walker was Willis's brother.
Just skip it.
Wallace was a famous mystery writer. Thank you for listening to me read.
What do you love? Reading! And where do you go to school?
Deer Creek School!
What grade are you in?
3rd grade!
Who's your teacher?
Miss Ewing!
Who's the best teacher in the whole world?
Miss Ewing!
Hip hip hooray!
Hip